Good night. Look at that thing right there, son. Look at that mouth on that thing, son. That's a toad, brother. Golly. Hey guys, I'm Chad Hoover, and this is the Catch 22 Challenge. All right, guys, so it's day 2 in Florida. On day 1, I only caught 2 fish, and now I'm about to get back after it for the Catch 22 Challenge. Here we go. Fish on, guys. Fish on. Number 3, and the first fish of the day today. Pretty little fish, and he flat choked that chatterbait. So let's get this guy on the board, get a measurement. Got ourselves a good photo. Let's get this guy back in the water. Love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, so even though it's cold, and even though Florida bass are not supposed to feed when it's cold, that little guy right there was hungry and ready to chaw down. So now if we could just find his big sister, or his aunt, Louise, who we gonna be in business, boys and girls. Boys and girls, here we go. There's another one. Here we go. Fish. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go, baby. That little chunk right there, son. These fish are starting to chew. I am going to give them something to chew on. Number 4. Okay, man. Hold on a second, Greg. Hold on a second, Greg. Oh, guys, this is a little, oh yeah, this is a little better fish. Hey, I'm gonna net this dude. Get up here, punk. Get up here, punk. Get up here, punk. Look at that. That one is gonna get measured and count towards the Catch 22 Challenge. So let's get him on the board and see how he is. All right, guys, this is a little better fish. Oh, yeah, buddy. This is a better fish. I'm gonna net this dude because we got some treble hooks flying around right there. Get a nut nut. Get a nut nut. Get a nut nut. Yeah, buddy. So look, for whatever reason, the rattle trap bite was not on fire. I'm gonna get a picture of this dude, get him back in the water, and then we'll talk about what we caught that guy on. So I'm going to show you a little trick that I use for chatterbaits that it's not that complicated, it's not that profound, but it produces pretty substantially. So I'm using a standard shad colored jackhammer right here. This is a 1/4 ounce, and it's got a little bit of a dark smoke in the upper part of the skirt, and the rest is just plain old white. And a lot of times I'll fish a white or white crystal colored tail on it, or even sometimes like a copper colored, like a shiner color. But when I'm fishing over milfoil and I'm fishing in a place where I'm seeing a lot of brim beds, I like to take this Zako with the paddle tail from Yamamoto and bite it off about that far back, you know, so take off about a 1/4 inch off the head. Then what I like to do is go closer to the belly side, go in, run it down until you come out right where the tail starts to get segmented. So right where that segmented part of the tail is. And then what you want to do is push that up on the skirt. What that does is it bulks up the skirt. See how it makes it that skirt stick out a little bit more? Gives it that white flash, and it gives it that crystal color. So it's got a little bit of a shad look to it. so that gets their attention. But it's got that darker tail, so it silhouettes really well, and it also potentially gives it that brim look. So that little crossover deal right there produces a lot of fish for me. So that's a jackhammer with a Yamamoto Zako paddle tail. Cut it off just a little bit, and man, you can just throw that thing out, let it fall like a 2 or 3 count. If you're in 4 foot of water, get it down about a foot, foot and a half, and they're going to come to it. Right now I'm sitting in 5 foot of water, so I'm going to run down about a 3 count. And so I want it to be in the middle upper part of the water column in almost every scenario. Here we go. It's not a big one, but it ain't I don't think it's a tiny one either. Let's get this guy up here and see. Let's get this guy up here and see how he's doing. Ooh, calm down, buddy. Calm down. I got a motor over here to catch up with Chris anyway, so let's just throw him on the board and see how big he is. I'm obviously going to try to log as many fish as I can, and there will be some culls, but you know, if they ain't at least about 11, maybe 12 inches, it don't even make no sense. So let's. Oh, he's good. He good. He 13. He good. Pretty fish. Get that guy back in the water so he can do his thing. Yes, sir. That's fun. Even if they're not that big, it's fun. It's fun. Here we go. All right, 14 and a half. That'll put us on the board. I went back to back right here, but unfortunately my GoPro had shut off. Right there, 16 3/4. It's a good fish. I'm gonna get him back in the water and we'll catch another one. How y'all doing? Good, good. I got 2 so far. Nothing to write home about, but a 14 and a half and a 16 3/4. So, you know, a 1.5 pounds and a 2.5 pounder. So yeah. I need about an 8.
They're in here.
They need signs, you know what I mean? Let's say like 8 pounder.
This way.
Yeah, or down, right there.
Y'all compete by inches or something, not by the pounds,
Inches,
right?
yeah, inches.
They usually hang out right there on that point.
I figured, man, it looked like it was gonna be juicy. There's like a bunch of wood in this little cut right here. I thought they'd be all up on that.
When we fish here, this is where we started out. This is our little topwater spot in the mornings.
Yeah. Dude, I threw the topwater this morning for the first hour and a half, thinking I was like, yeah, I'm gonna wreck them on that. I didn't even get it. I got 2 little poppers that just, you know, pop it up in there. Threw a Cinco for a little while just because the feeding time was a little bit later, you know, 8 like now till 10:30. And didn't get anything on that. Started throwing a white chatterbait and caught 2 real quick.
That's what I got on right now, white chatterbait.
Oh, there's one. And after my mic died, I continued to catch fish. I caught 3 or 4 fish back to back that I didn't get good footage or audio of, but the fishing was fun. And again, my front camera audio had died and I didn't realize it. But then right after I caught this fish, I had a really cool experience. I had this young man who was a fan who saw my truck and wanted to take a picture out on the water. So that's always pretty cool.
Down here doing any episodes?
Yeah, I just did 2 for the 10 and all that.
Yeah.
Oh. Do one more. Cool.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, likewise. Tag me in it on social media.
Oh, yeah. I already took a picture of your truck, so I'm going to post it up on the Tenor Rock page and everything.
Cool, cool.
All right, man. Good luck.
All right, same to you, brother. Shoot. Oh, here we go. All right, this one we'll count. Let's power pole down so we don't get blown out into the aggressive wind. Hey, that fish thought it was about to get away. Let's get this one on the board. Get a measurement, call it good. Get him back in the water. One of the things I like to do is put him in the net over there while I'm getting my stuff together, because it's just better for the fish. And this YakAttack net's got that rubberized coating on it, so it's really good. It's really good. It's really good. It's really good. So good. So good. It's like so good. It's like so good. Working on a system where I can have the net off to the side with these new net roto grips and actually just keep the fish right in it, like kind of buttoned in place. But until then, we're doing it this way. Here we go. Here we go. Fish on. Yeah, this feels like a better fish. Oh, good God almighty, this is a giant, guys. This is an absolute giant. Oh my God. Woo! Good night. Look at that thing right there, son. Pooyah. That thing is an absolute giant. We're gonna get this thing back in the water, but I wanted to give you an underwater release, because the only thing better than catching these big old fat girls like this is watching them swim away. So let's get her back in the water and watch her swim away. Well, guys, that is my first, big fish, my first fish over 20 for the year. That fish was so fat. It was a little over 8 pounds on the scale, or on the boga, and only 22¼ inches. I expected it to be bigger than that. I know there's a lot of people who are like, only 22¼ but again, when I set the hook, that fish bowed me up and actually brought the nose of the kayak around with the torpedo running on slow. So that was a legit toad. Anything over 8 pounds is always respectable, and so that one was just a smudge, just a smidge over 8 pounds. And now we're gonna see if we can't get another one. I know the first comment's gonna be, what'd you catch it on? So let me just go ahead and knock that out of the way. A white chatterbait. I love the ZMan shad color, but I really, really love it with the Yamamoto Zako. This is the standard Zako with the kicker tail instead of the paddle tail, or the fork tail instead of the paddle tail. And she flat smoked it. I actually was talking to Chris out on the flats, and I said, man, I'm throwing this green pumpkin color, because after the spawn, a lot of times they'll feed up on brim. The brim will start to move up to spawn. They like something with a little bit higher fat content, and brim have a little higher fat content. But man, they were just smoking that white yesterday. So I started throwing the white. 10 or 15 casts into throwing the white, I catch a fish. So sometimes you can't argue with yourself. You just got to go with it and produce the first decent fish. They're all decent. Let me rephrase that. It fished the first adrenaline pumping fish of the year. Good morning, everybody. So I have completed the Catch 22 challenge for the state of Florida, but I was heading north, and my good buddy Jody Queen was laying the smack down in northern Florida. So kind of backed down in temperature. I was fishing in the 70s and even 80-degree weather there. It's 39 here right now. Water temperatures down there were 68 to 74, and we're back down in the 50s and the high 40s right now. But he's found a couple of big fish, caught a couple of big ones yesterday. So I decided to stop and do a little bit of an upgrade. Got out yesterday evening for about 45 minutes. Did a little gear shakedown because I packed my truck all up for the trip home. And then I just decided I'm going to spend the day here today. So we're here in Tallahassee, Florida, about to try to lay the smack down on some big girls. Hope y'all like this video, and y'all do me a favor and let me know your thoughts on how I can do better videos. Working on audio, playing around with doing a little bit more self-filming type stuff. What can I do better, more of, less of, you know, things like that. So here we go. All right, so it's not a monster, but we on the board. I'm gonna at least do a little quick measurement to see if it's an upgrade for one of my smaller fish. Let's get that guy back in the water. So I made a little adjustment here. I went from the offset worm hook to the Mustad grip pin hook, which is funny. It's what I usually fish it on, especially with this Elastec, because that grip pin thing really holds that bait in place. But I just hollered over at Jody and told him that I reduced the weight, and then asked him what weight he was using, and pretty much now I'm using the same weight. And he said he rigged it on a grip pin hook. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna switch to a grip pin as well. When you bump it into those pad stalks with that offset worm hook, it fouls it. So with that grip pin hook, you can drag it through there. You don't have to worry about it fouling up. Those Mustad grip pins work great with pretty much all the ZMan stuff. That little grip pin really holds that plastic in place. It's not a monster, but it's another upgrade. I need a fish I need the net for today. I need a net fish today. These are fun, but I need a net fish. Here we go. Oh, it's not a monster, but it'll upgrade, son. Well, this will be an upgrade. Not a monster, but definitely gonna knock a dink off the board. Man, this thing is in a foot of water. Well, I thought the GoPro was recording, but it wasn't. So I just, now it is. Got a first fish on the Chatterbait. Hey, that depth finder hit 55. I told Jody, I said, they just announced to the fish, the Chatterbait bite is on. And about the 4th or 5th cast with the Chatterbait bite was on. Let's get this dude measured. I got one dink left to get off of the old Catch 22 board. So this one might just do it. I mean, not that this is not like a dink. It's like an upper slot dink though. You know what I mean? Like there's levels to this stuff. There you go. Again, it's not a monster, but it's definitely an upgrade. Mo inches, mo inches, mo inches. Oh, this is a better fish, guys. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not a monster, but it's mo gooder. Look at that thing right there. Son. All right, that fish was 18 and a half. It's a definite upgrade, and man, was it fun to get bowed up on one I needed the net for. Let's see. Come on, dude. Man, when he opened that white mouth, I thought I had a donkey. You know, as we kick off another tournament series for KBF for this season, I regularly get comments from people saying stuff like, man, I'm not really into tournaments, but let me talk to you a little bit about my concept, my thoughts on that whole thing. For any sport to grow, there needs to be innovation. And for innovation, you really need competition, both competition between manufacturers and an actual competition to where the success of particular products is measured. Otherwise, everything is subjective. But the main reason that I love fishing tournaments is the camaraderie that it creates and the amount of information sharing that it generates. You know, a lot of really great anglers would stay kind of tucked away in their little pocket of the world, and you may not know who they are, and you may not get to tap into their knowledge. I'm going to give you one such example. I would have never known about this lure right here if it wasn't for doing tournaments and fishing with Mr. Jody Queen. Jody Queen turned me onto this lure. Let me spin around to where I'm a little bit more well lit, and I'm going to show you guys this setup, and then we're hopefully going to go out here and catch a couple donkeys on it. But this is the ZMan, you know, mag FattyZ, and I would have thought to myself, yeah, man, if I'm going to fish a big worm, I'll just fish a culprit, or I'll fish a zoom or something along those lines. But this Elastec plastic really is buoyant, and when this thing stands up, it just creates an unbelievable amount of action without doing anything. And I'm a big fan of do nothing action like you get with the Senko. So that setup right there, which is just basically a Texas rig, standard offset shank worm hook, and a mag FattyZ. This is a big fish catching setup that honestly I probably would have never come up with on my own. And so the cool thing about tournaments is it generates a think tank of knowledge sharing. It generates an opportunity for us to all benefit. And, you know, though I'm not a big fan of the phrase trickle-down effect, because it's not always the most positive connotation, and in a lot of cases it doesn't actually happen, I really do feel like in the world of tournament fishing, especially kayak tournament fishermen, because kayak tournament fishermen are so forthcoming with information, that we really get a lot of information sharing and a trickle down, or more of a trickle out effect. So before you decide to bash a tournament in the future, one, you should try it, because I really do think you'll dig the adrenaline rush, the excitement that it generates, and all the things around it. But the most important part of it is it brings the community together, and it creates that sense of camaraderie. Now, does it have its divisive elements and all that kind of stuff? Absolutely. But just like anything, you're going to have pros and you're going to have cons. And I think in the world of tournament fishing, especially from kayaks, the pros significantly outweigh the cons. And it's our job as a community to get rid of as many of the cons as we can. So now I'm going to shut up. We're going to catch some big old fish. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Here's some really cool shots that I came across while editing this video. I'll see y'all in the next one. Hope you enjoy.